For my technical traders, flipping through the pages, doing a little reading, thus let's talk trend lines. Okay, identifying trends is a crucial part of technical analysis. A trend is just the overall direction of a stock or another security or a commodity. For those who trade futures, you typically trade commodities, and you could also use trend lines to see which direction your commodity is heading at, or which direction the trade is heading in, rather. Okay, so when speaking about an uptrend or bullish trend, right, you're speaking about each successive high being higher than the previous high, right? So it looks like this is one high, it's another high, it's another high. This is considered bullish momentum. In addition, each successive low is higher than the last low, right? An uptrend or bullish trend is when each successive high is higher than the previous high and each successive low is higher than the previous low. Whereas a downtrend or bearish trend is when each successive high is lower than the previous high and each successive low is lower than the previous low. And then you could always go sideways on them. A sideways trend or horizontal trend shows that the highs and the lows are both in a generally sideways pattern with no clear indication of trending up or down, at least not yet, right? It would have to break that trend line to see which way it's going. In other words, is the stock bearish or bullish? We don't know until the stock itself breaks the trend line, right? And the trend lines typically look like this: one line up here, one line at the bottom, with the stock breaking in between. Now, if it's trading sideways, it's definitely going to look like this. But once it breaks this top line, boom, that's heading to the upside. That's bullish momentum. Once it breaks this bottom line or the support down here, as we would refer to it from a technical standpoint, that's bearish momentum. So just keep that in mind. Okay, a sideways or horizontal trend just shows a consolidation pattern. That means that the stock will break out into an uptrend or downtrend. The line is usually jagged and bumpy because it's really a summary of all the buyers and the sellers making their trades, right? Technical analysts call the highs peaks and the lows troughs. So I'll stop right there. Anytime you hear peaks and troughs, and this is dealing with the economy or a stock chart itself, anytime you hear peaks, you're at the high. Anytime you hear troughs, you're at the low. Heavy on the investments. Stay tuned.